Hey guys, what's good? It is January the 31st, 2026. This is Shane's World News Views podcast. This is my second podcast of the week. As I know, again, I always remind everybody I normally do one per week, but I did not do one last week. So I ended up doing two this week. So let's start off with disgraced journalist, if that's what you want to call him, Don Lemon, was arrested and he was released. But this is for his actions in Minnesota of going into a church and raiding a church while people are inside this church during a mass trying to, respect God and or find God. And, him and the rest of these losers that went in there, he thought it was appropriate. And he's even caught on camera talking to some of these same people that were involved in this protest. It was orchestrated. Let's just go inside. And then, of course, Don's saying, oh, but I'm a journalist and this is violating my First Amendment and blah, blah, blah. No, you can't go. A church is not, a church cannot be invaded and, protested like these morons did it without paying the price of being arrested. And luckily, he's out of jail. Luckily for him, he's out of jail now. But they need to come with better shit on these people and put them in jail for longer so they learn a lesson. No matter who they're getting funded from, no matter how much money they're making to do this dumb shit, it can't go. It can't keep going. So anyway, he's released. So we'll see, if any other shit happens down the road where they could pursue further prosecution for these idiots. I'm not sure, but I'd like to see that instead of just getting in and getting out. And he'll just hype himself up, and his base the will think, oh, he's so great, and he was doing the right thing, and he was not doing the right thing, folks. He was not doing the right thing. Okay, that's why he got arrested. Also, disgraced Congresswoman from Minnesota, Ilhan Omar. She had some talk this week or some little rally, if you want to call it, where there was maybe 25 people listening to her in a room. And of course, some idiot jumps up and sprays her with supposedly whatever. And I don't know. I don't know if they said it was, I don't even remember what it was, but sprayed her with some bullshit. And of course, she comes right at the guy like she was going to punch him. And it took her security, forever, to let the guy actually get off spraying this whatever before they actually blocked him off and started pushing him away, because it was orchestrated. It was orchestrated. So she could go on and say that she's not going to be held down and she's not going to be intimidated by Donald Trump for putting out all this bad rhetoric about her and what a bad person she is and all this stuff or whatever. There's actually a photo that's going around which does not look like AI to me, her with the same person that they're saying attacked her, okay, in this thing with spraying her with whatever. So, guys, this is a joke. This is their ploy now. Let's just do these things. Let's make up stories. Just like with the Epstein files, 3 more million pages come out yesterday. Well, okay, of course, there's all these names in there. Of course, Trump and George Bush. It doesn't even classify which George Bush, if it's the father or the son. The Clintons and I don't know, all kinds of names, bro. There's all kinds of. Sammy Sosa was even in there, baseball player. There's I don't know. There's all kinds of people that if you're going through these pages. But of course, there's something that comes where it says that President Trump was accused of a girl that she was I don't know, touched by him in a manner for a fitting or something. Where her vagina was getting touched, and bro, these accusations are never going to end as long as Trump is the president for another 3 years, and and beyond would be great. We'll see what happens, but the 2028, I don't know. We'll see, but we'll see if we could change the way that the books are. But for now, 3 more years, and he's gonna have to keep dealing with this bullshit, and it's like these are accusations. Okay, there's no proof, there's no evidence. It's like of any of these names, there's nothing. Now, if you have videos, or you have people that actually are willing to come out and at least speak on it in public but they won't because they don't want to get sued. So these are in some like files, the Epstein files, and it's whoever made them. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein, of course, talking all this shit. Okay, but remember, President Trump fed Jeffrey Epstein to the feds when he knew what Epstein was associating with all these younger girls or whatever, younger boys, whatever he was doing on his island. He fed them to the feds, okay, and he banned them from his properties. Of course, Epstein was going to come out and probably make up a lot of stories about people that had it out for him or that, that turned him over like Trump did, turning him over to the feds. So, look, guys, I mean, anytime you see an accusation that's, it could be like me saying, hey, I went outside today and I have an older lady that lives across the street from me and she fondled my nuts. And I could be lying about it, right? That didn't happen, but I'm saying I could say that. So in accusations, unless you have facts, and I say this about anybody that's in these files, anybody, I don't care if it's Bill Clinton or whoever, if you don't have evidence, direct evidence, it ain't going nowhere, bro. All it is accusations. So, look, and then they're saying Trump's kids were present when he was having these kid pageants at Mar-a-Lago to auction kids off. It's some sick shit, bro. Like this shit never fucking happened. And these people all need to go to jail that push this shit. And then they say, oh, well, the DOJ released this stuff and then they blocked it. Like, bro, you think the DOJ is going to release these papers and then all of a sudden put a block on certain ones that they actually put out? I mean, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what happened, or people are saying that, but like who really made these files? Like, is this all really stuff that Jeffrey Epstein even said, or did people just add things along the way? I think that's what's happening. I think we're having people from the inside that are, making their own files and they're putting bullshit in. And, that's the problem also with these files, bro. Like there's so much inside stuff. There's so many people inside that are dirty that could be doing stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's definitive. That's my opinion. Okay. I don't know, but I would assume that that's very possible. So, guys, look, I told somebody today that I was cussing out online. I said, you'll be reaching for the next 20 years for President Trump. Like, you'll be reaching for shit and there will be nothing there. There's nothing there. He would not have even been president the first time if there was really something there. And definitely not the second time. They're like, bro, they have nothing. They just keep coming up with stories. They're trying to win the next election. So they want to make President Trump and the Republican base look as bad as possible for the Democrat side, to have them do that. And they'll lie. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care if God knows what they're doing, which God sees it all. I tell these people, God sees it all. You don't want to believe in God, whatever, but somebody put us here, bro. Somebody created us. Our parents did, but they were given that ability by somebody else that actually created humanity and what's going on the planet of Earth. And that was God. And God knows exactly what all these fucking people are doing, bro. And they're going to pay the price, whether it's on Earth or when they go to the afterlife and they spend it in hell. They're going to pay the price. That's for sure. Trust me on that. Anyways, New York, in New York, Zohran Mamdani, he's out there, the mayor, he's out there and he's saying now that I think, what is it? They're in a $12 billion debt in New York with taxes or something. So where people are going to, of course, have to pay for things that he said they weren't going to have to pay for, things that were going to be free, transportation and food and all this crap. The guy, of course, he blew smoke up his base's ass to get voted in. It sounded good, but of course it was never going to be reality. Like, nothing is for free, bro. Maybe love. Nothing else is for free. So people in New York will see Zohran Mamdani bullshitted them, and then he'll probably be voted out the next time around. As long as the election is done correctly, there's no, votes not counted or, votes that are counted that aren't supposed to be or whatever, he'll probably be voted out. What else do we have going on this week? Let's see. Well, I mean, I know Russian President Vladimir Putin, he told President Trump he would not, he would not attack Ukraine, I believe, for the next 7 days. Like, he would hold back. That was a couple days ago. So President Trump was appreciative of that. Of course, they're trying to still get a deal reached, a peace deal. We'll see what happens with that. The Melania movie, his wife, it premiered this week. I know they did something at the Kennedy Trump Center for it. They had the premiere there, and I believe that was a few days ago. The official premiere, I believe, was last night, where it came out in theaters. I mean, where people were able to go watch. The public was able to go and watch. So I'll check it out at some point. And I'm trying to think of what else is going on. Disgraced attorney, or whatever you want to call him, Jack Smith. He was getting questioned. I think that was last week. I forgot to mention that the last episode. He was being questioned by Congress. And of course, he was saying, oh, yeah, I have evidence and proof that, Trump was trying to steal the 2020 election, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's nothing there. And speaking of that, the Georgia offices, the election offices in Georgia, were raided by the FBI, I believe. I believe the FBI went in, but then also Tulsi Gabbard was present, and they took all the ballots. They took all the boxes of ballots, and they're going to show, like I've been saying all along, they're going to prove that a lot of ballots were counted that should not have been counted in Georgia, and vice versa. There was ballots that should have been counted that weren't, okay, to screw President Trump in Georgia, among other swing states where he definitively won that election, and Sleepy Joe Biden was an imposter. So over time, you're going to see in these next few months, they will investigate that and they will show it. And again, I want to see Sleepy Joe Biden's name erased from the books as being president, because it's going to be shown he did not win that election. So, like, can you just put President Trump as the president? No, because he didn't serve those 4 years. But you could still put in Trump won, like he won the election, and then just erase Biden's name from being recognized ever as president, because he realistically, it will be shown, did not win. And then they had Marco Rubio having questions also the other day by the Senate, and all shit about ICE and this and that and blah blah blah, and whatever, man. They're all gonna go and ask crazy questions and stupid questions. And Marco Rubio, he held his ground, and he was basically laughing at these bullshit questions he was getting asked. Also, there's a temporary government shutdown, but it can be lifted on Monday, I believe, by the House, and it's just something where Trump is going to get together, I believe, with the Democrats and others, and just discuss the way that funding is down the road, how funding is going to be issued, especially toward ICE, where, of course, these people are complaining that, ICE is, a detriment and all this stuff. Meanwhile, they're taking filthy criminals and illegal immigrants off of our streets and protecting us in the United States. But because of political affiliations, they're deeming ICE as a Republican thing, and again, they're trying to win elections with their batshit crazy base. They're mostly batshit crazy base, and it's not going to work. And they're thinking that it's going to work for the midterms, and I would say that's not going to work for the midterms. Okay, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if it gets lifted Monday. And then other than that, look, ICE. They're doing great things, man. And, now they got the protests going on again in California. Same shit that was going on a few weeks ago. So it's carried over from Minnesota to California now. And, this shit's never going to end. It's just like, this is what's basically taken over the last few weeks. Like these protests, if you want to call them, I call them agitator webinars. I mean, really, it's like you're going in there and you're just agitating, because you're getting paid. You're getting paid to be an agitator, and you're giving people classes on how to do this. It's just here, you can make money being an agitator. Maybe you don't even believe what you're out on the street for, saying, oh, I don't want ICE. Like, you may really want ICE, but you're being paid to say you don't want ICE. So you'll go out and you'll just sell your soul, because, you're poor or whatever, or maybe you need extra money or whatever the case may be. I don't know, but these people are fucking stupid and pathetic. Really, they're stupid and pathetic. I'm trying to think what else I want to touch on here. I think that's kind of it, guys. Trying to go over in my head what else. Look, I never remember this country being this crazy. Like, maybe it was and I just wasn't paying attention when I was younger. I mean, I don't know, but it's fucking crazy, bro. And again, it's for power and money. Like, you have people in this world that are sick and they're willing to sell their souls for power and money. Like, it doesn't matter. They'll lie to you. They'll say certain things are good and they're horrible for you. They'll lie about President Trump just, and try to deface this man and defame him just for political affiliation, so they could get extra money from it. And so their base can maybe win an election. It's fucking crazy. And like I said, God's going to handle this down the road. These people will all see that God will handle it down the road, either here on earth or in the afterlife. They will get paid back for doing bad things. Trust me on that. And they know exactly what they're doing. And it's fucked up. And it's both sides. Again, you got bad people on both sides and that aren't even affiliated with a certain Republican Democrat base on their own, whatever, bipartisan, whatever you want to call it. And there's bad people everywhere. Bad police, bad doctors, bad lawyers, bad everything, man. It's just a shame. Just bad people and good people in general. And that's really what it's become, man. It's crazy. But I just want good people doing things by law and making this country as great as it possibly can be, and not having money stolen from us, our tax money that's going to taxes being pocketed by these politicians. It's fucking crazy. And then the disgraced governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, he said, he's not, of course, confirming it was already rumored, he's not running for any more political affiliations in the future. He's out after he's done this term as governor, and that's a great thing. And I'm sure Trump's got shit on him and on a lot of these people. And again, in Minnesota, they're supposedly supposed to be working with us on letting ICE go in and take these illegals that are criminals and getting them out. But then Waltz and Fry, the mayor there, they want to say different things like these people are fucking batshit crazy people, and again, if you committed crimes, you need to be held accountable, not just for a day. There needs to be stiff penalties. Okay. So people don't ever think about doing this again, whoever they're funded from, whether it's Soros or whether it's whoever, these people need to be arrested. The people that are actually creating this chaos in the world, for whatever reason, they have these sick minds and they just want to see divide at all times. They don't want to see peace. They don't want to see love. They don't want to see unity. They want to see division. And this is what they want to see. They get off on this, and it's fucking crazy. And they want to then have their own world on the side while they watch all this chaos going on around it. These are sick people, and they need to be, it's like they say the head needs to be cut off the snake that creates. So this is the snakehead, whoever is responsible for all this shit and funding this shit, that head needs to be cut off, is what I'm saying. Okay. And that these people need to be put in jail for life. Yeah. Whoever's doing this. I'm trying to think what else I got here. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. And if I forgot to touch on anything in particular, I'll touch on it next week. If I forgot anything that I left out this week, I don't think I did. But anyway, so guys, like President Trump always is trying to do, make America great. Everybody open your eyes and ears. Don't just, don't listen to a lot of the bullshit you're being fed on your television networks. Just use your own brain and see what's going on. And you'll be in a better place. Okay. Trust me, because you're being fed a lot of lies. I don't care what network it is. You're being fed lies, some way more than others, but you're being fed lies in some ways at all times. I think pretty much on any network. So, look, just again, And, look, the people do have the power. You vote these people into these positions. You have the power. So we do have the power. They want you to think you need them, but that's not the case. We need the right people in these positions. I say this like a broken record. We need the right people in all these positions. Doctors, police, lawyers, ICE, government, doing the right things, guys. Doing the right things. That's it. Okay? I mean, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I'll see you guys next week. All right? And then I'll be back with more Shane's World News Views. All right. See ya.